But first, I'm really excited to be talking about this story because I think it really genuinely does matter a heck of a lot. And I bring you a TV exclusive with two nurses who are blowing the whistle on transgender policies in hospitals, which they say are putting staff at risk. So Lisa Lockie and also Bethany Hutchison are two of four nurses who have launched legal action after a trans male at birth colleague's behaviour reportedly caused female staff at the Darlington Memorial Hospital to suffer panic attacks. Now, I'm going to throw it over to the ladies here who are on my sofa just to explain the exact situation, because I think when you at home find out exactly what's going on here, it's probably going to make you spit your dinner out. So, Bethany, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
So just explain to us what the situation is here. You have got someone who's a biological male, still a biological male, who's allowed to change in your change room at a hospital, yeah?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we first became aware of him sort of...
Probably about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago. And a few nurses, they basically contacted me and said, this is what's happening, I feel really uncomfortable. And I suppose they approached me because I've been working there quite a long time now and they felt comfortable to do so and thought maybe something might get done. So we followed policy. We chatted to a sister on the ward and said, could you please pass this on to HR? And she has raised it with HR and nothing really has been done. This person still continues to change in our changing room.
OK, and it obviously makes you feel quite uncomfortable. And I believe that the person is not on any kind of hormone treatment.
No, allegedly no.
No.
And is trying to get a girlfriend pregnant is what we've heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So really, a sexually active, I would say, arguably straight man.
Man, yes, yeah.
By the traditional definition, I suppose.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, then?
Incredibly uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. A lot of the girls are feeling really panicky about it, don't want to go in the changing room.
They've been in tears before the shift, and we're meant to support patients through, something that's quite stressful.
Yeah, they're coming in for surgery.
Stressful, and we're meant to support them, and we're struggling because we're distressed before work.
I've heard that some of your colleagues have had panic attacks, is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's been incidents where, well, it's happened with you as well, Beth, where there's only the individual and one female behind the locked door of the changing room. And, girls have reported feeling really panicked by that, thinking they feel so uncomfortable with it.
What's his behaviour like in the changing room?
Inappropriate, I would say. Inappropriate.
He definitely lingers longer than needs. I go in there and I can't wait to get out and get home at the end of my shift. Mm-hmm. There seems to be a lot of walking around, chatting. Now, whether this is chatting with friends, colleagues of his, I don't know, but there definitely seems to be some hanging around.
Mm. And when you've gone to HR, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, I would expect if I walked into a woman's changing room and hung around in there, I would expect there to be some consequences to that. But it appears that that's not the case in the NHS at the moment. Why do you think this is? Are you being told that you've got to be tolerant, or that it'll be educated more, maybe, in diversity or whatever it is?
It's the Equality Act, and that we have to be more. What was the word they used?
Inclusive.
More inclusive, that we need to be educated, that, it's kind of like we felt really like we'd been reprimanded, like we were naughty school children that weren't towing the line, and that we were bad people.
So it's made you feel like bad people?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, completely. And we also feel like there's no chance of us progressing in the NHS at all. We'll have a black mark by our name. We won't be allowed to progress in our jobs. Because
you'd be seen as intolerant or in some way bigoted because you're not accepting this. Are you worried about the direction of travel here? I mean, presumably this didn't really exist as a problem, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. You're worried, are you, that this could become more of a problem now?
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were told that there is another member of staff on one of the other floors in the hospital who has said that he wants to start transitioning. So we've kind of, we know it's a problem that it's something needs to be sorted out for transgender people to go in. We don't want to force this person to go in the men's. We don't want them to feel uncomfortable. You know, we don't want to attack this person. It's just we want our female-only space back.
Yes.
We want to feel comfortable, and we do not feel comfortable.
No, and we want a change in policy.
Yeah.
The policy is... It's
just
outrageous.
open to anybody.
Yes, it's...
So what? Go on, explain that then. So what is the current policy?
So the policy states that anybody can self-identify, and so a male can say that they're a female, and that's all they need to do. They just need to contact a member of senior.
And it's at any stage in the transition, isn't it? It's like it doesn't have to be, right, you've got to have been on female hormones for however long, or it's literally, you know, if they want to be in there as soon as they've started the transition, that's fine.
What, me now?
Yes,
basically?
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
so you
I
said tomorrow I want to change my name, and you could go in.
So conceivably, if I got a job in the NHS tomorrow and said, right, I'm a woman now, I could wander into your
That's
changing
it,
room.
exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
This world.
Additionally, if we have any issues with that, we have to go and find somewhere else to change.
I mean, it is bonkers. I'm going to read you a couple of bits and bobs now. So this is, I think this is Wes Streeting, is it, the Shadow Health Secretary? I support the nurses, all right, he says, and I'm horrified that they've had to resort to legal action. We've got to find a better way through this. I'd be happy to meet them. There you go. So you might have been aware of this already. We've got to find a way through that treats trans people with respect and respects women's safe spaces. So that is what he's had to say. Miriam Cates of the Tory party has said this: we don't need a better way through. We just need to uphold the rules and boundaries based on the realities of biology and human nature that all societies throughout all history have upheld. Men are not allowed in women's intimate spaces. That is where it begins and ends. What do you both make of those two political figures, their comments there? And is there one that's ringing more true to you or not particularly?
I think... I don't think either of us have any confidence in Wes Streeting.
No.
You know, he seems to have done a 360. It just seems to be now about getting votes and saying the right thing that'll please us. Because, you know, 50% of the population are women who are going to be voting next week. I think it's, you know, I think it's just talk.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the same.
Yeah, completely. Completely.
And can I just ask what? Well, there is actually something on the front of The Guardian. I was only aware of this just before, literally as you walked in, actually. But Labour are pledging to ban managers who silence NHS whistleblowers, they say. You mentioned earlier to me there that one of your big concerns is that there'll be a black mark against your name now. You've caused a problem, you've raised an issue, and that will have an effect on your career progression. Do you see that changing? Do you think that's... Because it's a very brave thing that you've done to speak out. I mean, you must really have thought long and hard about whether or not you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what tipped you over the edge there? Because you must have spoken about this quite a bit and thought, in an ideal world, you wouldn't, with respect, you wouldn't be on national television, right? Talk to me about it now, would you? You know.
For me, it was talking to some of our international nurses that how upset they were. You know, we got talking about it one day, and one of the girls was just saying how she was so absolutely horrified. She was in the changing room, she took her top off and she heard a male voice. And for her, she panicked and she literally she froze in panic. And I could have actually wept for her.
Yeah.
It was so awful to hear that. Yeah. I think that was sort of the turning point for me, where I just thought, this isn't right and it's not fair.
And now this individual, she wears a top and leggings underneath her uniform because she's so terrified that this colleague will walk in and, you know, she'll be... You
shouldn't have to change your behaviour. You shouldn't have to change your behaviour. You shouldn't have to deal with the mental thing. The job that you guys do is so important and so... You know, stressful and demanding, and I imagine emotionally draining at times as well. The last thing you need is this on top of that. Very quickly, then. So, what's the ultimate resolution for you now? So, you've got legal action taking place. just say what you want to happen there. How's this going to play out, do you think?
We want policy changed.
Absolutely.
And we want the government to, whoever it may be that comes into power, they need to scrutinise this.
Absolutely.
And it's across the board as well. It's not just the NHS, it needs to hit wider society.
Absolutely. Because it's happening everywhere. It's happening in shop changing rooms and things like that.
Yeah. No, look, fair play to you, absolutely. And I know that you're going to... There'll be people sitting at home now or listening on the radio or whatever they're doing, applauding both of you in a very, very big way. So thank you very much for coming on. Good luck with everything. I hope that you get exactly what you're after. And I think most people would. You know, I've said this before, I haven't got children yet. If I do have a daughter, I think if things do get changed, I would be very grateful for the fact that women like you have actually helped to improve their situation. So thank you very, very much. When we contacted County Durham and Darlington NHS Foundation Trust, they said the Trust would like to emphasise that at this stage, the claims being made are allegations which need to be fully investigated and reviewed. The Trust has initiated this through its internal process and this work continues. However, as the allegations are now also subject to an active legal action, it would not be appropriate for the Trust to comment further at this stage. Deep breaths, everyone. Right, OK, that was NHS nurses Lisa Lockie and Bethany Hutchinson. Thank you very much. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything. All right.